So today, Terrance T.A. Dixon, the ex-hype man of Fat Joe who sued him last year June, officially dropped the grape and child trafficking from his lawsuit against Fat Joe. Many would suggest that this is so sudden. After the success of the Joe and Jada podcast and etc., people are thinking that, hey, maybe Fat Joe paid off Terrance Dixon. I mean, bro, has been quiet for quite a while. I haven't really heard anything about Terrance Dixon since this lawsuit. We heard the details, which were extreme, which was crazy. Fat Joe even allegedly giving a 15-year-old a BBL. All of a sudden, these charges have magically dropped. I wonder why. Could it be that Fat Joe's allegedly paid this man what he wanted? Maybe there was some legal issues on Terrance Dixon's side. Listen, I want y'all to hit the like button and hit the hype button, cause we about to get deep.
Got up on some ball shit and linked up with the man.
Oh, champ. Run up these likes, and make sure you hit that hype button, because the hype button does help the channel in an amazing way. Fat Joe now has a little bit of good news, but really out of nowhere, and people are very iffy on why this is happening. Terrance T.A. Dixon officially drops grape and child trafficking from his lawsuit against Fat Joe last year June. So has that Joe and Jada podcast money been that great that now he's officially fulfilled whatever this guy Terrance Dixon wanted? Remember, this is the former hype man of Fat Joe who accused him of very heinous things when it came to teeners in high school, okay? We cannot forget that. There was some very crazy things in this lawsuit. One of the craziest ones being that he was definitely trying to give a BBL, or did in fact give a BBL, to a 15-year-old girl, allegedly, champ. This is what the lawsuit stated, amongst other very heinous acts that were just otherworldly, if I can say so myself. These charges were deemed to get Fat Joe canceled almost. Now, again, remember, they had the BET Awards last year, and he was not the host. I believe Kevin Hart replaced him. Plus, black people already had Fat Joe canceled, so this lawsuit wasn't gonna change that if it happened or if it didn't happen. Fat Joe already had bad footing with the black community because he said a lot of things that people didn't like calling Lil Mo and the other girl from Murder Inc. Records, alright, a bunch of dope heads, alright, when he did his verses against Ja Rule. Yeah, it got nasty. He referred to the two girls who sung along with Ja Rule as some dope heads, champ, and that's me using code words because he obviously said white rockheads. So white rockheads may be more appropriate, I guess. However, that's what Fat Joe did, amongst other things, amongst saying he wasn't really black and didn't care about black issues and so on and so forth. So he already didn't have the best standing with the black community, so it was easily believable that he may have done things that TA said he did in that lawsuit. But maybe the Netflix money's pouring in a lot different now, and he was able to fulfill whatever it was that your boy Terrance Dixon needed or wanted in this lawsuit, right? And that's the narrative that everybody's going with. They're saying that, look, Fat Joe, you paid your way, champ. You fulfilled the lawsuit. This does not mean that you're off the hook, and this does not mean that you didn't do what he said that you did, because he probably was just holding it over his head. Now, does this make Terrance Dixon a good person by, threatening with this suit because he's exposing someone who's a predator, or does it make him also a POS by knowing this information and putting it out here as if, he wasn't just gonna shut up if he got the money? Because if Fat Joe paid him out, this would make Terrance Dixon a POS, if we're being real about the situation. To me, maybe this was a money grab for Terrance Dixon. He said, look, I'm not doing too well. I know about what you did here, there, and there, and I need some money. So I guess maybe this was his way of doing it. If he did get paid outside of court, we don't know. It could be a silent settlement. Here's further details on him now dropping this lawsuit that he gave to Fat Joe last year of June. So Fat Joe's attorney, Jordan Seave, has released the following statement to XXL about the amended lawsuit. He says, from the outset, we have always maintained that Terrance Dixon and Tyrone Blackburn's claims about Mr. Cartagena Fat Joe were nothing more than an elaborate shakedown to extract money from him, the statement reads. The decision to now voluntarily amend Mr. Dixon's complaint, removing all allegations involving transporting of minors, statutory rape, and RICO, and recast this matter primarily as a financial dispute about royalties, wages allegedly owed, only reinforces that the allegations were baseless and that Mr. Cartagena is the one being targeted. It is exactly why Mr. Cartagena took the proactive step of filing a lawsuit against both of them in April of 2025 and shedding light on their extortion scheme. So Fat Joe's lawyer, and Fat Joe is Mr. Cartagena, has done very good damage control, it seems, because again, remember when these allegations came out, when this lawsuit was released last year, a lot of people bought into it because they already disliked Fat Joe. They thought he was a POS. So this would only pretty much fulfill a narrative that people might have already had, that he might have been involved in some stuff that was Diddy like, quote unquote. Me, honestly, we don't know if it's true or false, but I think it's true in my personal opinion, only because now all of a sudden he just drops the lawsuit. Either it's true or it's not true, alright? Because the only way we would know if it's true is if he definitely got paid, and there's no sign of a settlement. We don't know if there was a silent settlement, a settlement that we just don't know about, because that could have been the case. It could have been some street money type, under the table type deal just to let the lawsuit go and etc., trying to fulfill, you know, the need, just because Fat Joe does not want his name plastered everywhere as some type of predator. He just doesn't want that, especially now doing a deal with Netflix with the whole Joe and Jada podcast. The last thing he would want is to have his name looking like he could potentially be someone that he doesn't want anyone to know that he is, if he is indeed guilty of these acts. Regardless if it's true or not, it will make Fat Joe look terrible for business, because once you have your name attached to anything that is of the Epstein nature, it's already nasty work. Like, people are already gonna cancel you. You're not gonna get any opportunities, none of that, alright? No new sponsorships, nothing. Read it, Fat Joe was a POS 1000%. Do I know if he did these things? I guess we'll never know now, because again, we don't know if Terrance Dixon got a settlement or not. It might seem like he really did, because I guess timing matters, because again, this is happening like right after they get this whole Netflix deal. So could it be the Netflix money? That's just gonna be the assumption, right? But we can also make asses of ourselves for assuming, not knowing what's actually going on. But I guess this looks good business wise for Fat Joe, but that doesn't mean that the whole lawsuit was just false at all. Again, Terrance Dixon is just as big of a POS as Fat Joe is if his statements are true, and he's only using this for a cash grab and probably got what he wanted allegedly behind the scenes, right? That would just make him a POS for hiding the secret and only using it as leverage when it was convenient for his pockets. That makes him just as disgusted as Fat Joe, because he knew of these things and just held it secret until it was just the right time for him to try to run up Fat Joe's wallet. Fat Joe will never be in good standing, ladies and gentlemen. He just won't. I don't care if this lawsuit came up or not. This lawsuit will still be in the back of people's heads anyway, just because, alright? Someone who had attachments to Diddy or Jay-Z, who people also despise, right? People hate Jay-Z. People even hate Fat Joe even more. Even more. They hate Hov, but they also very much dislike Fat Joe. Even worse than they despise Hov, because Hov, people are still gonna listen to Hov's music. Fat Joe don't really got too much music you can actually listen to, if we being real. But I'm sure a lot of people in the comments is gonna be like, yo, listen, I know for a fact Fat Joe paid that man off, because it just doesn't make sense. He didn't make this up off the top of his head. The details were just it was just too much information for it to be fake or just fixed. He had to pay this man under the table without anyone's knowledge in a silenced settlement. Alright? That's what a lot of people are going to say. I already know, because that's just the narrative that people are going to go with. It's the proper narrative for most people. Does it mean that this is true? No, because we don't even know what happened. However, It's cool to think these things. Do I think this way? Listen, maybe it's a possibility that I also believe that, hey, Fat Joe maybe paid your boy TA Terrance Dixon under the table, perhaps. Alright, I wouldn't be surprised. It just wouldn't shock me because, listen, there's all types of ways to manipulate the system, and I'm sure he would use as much money as possible for his name not to be in these types of lights. Like I said, if Terrance Dixon is telling the truth and he was using this as leverage, that's nasty work because you could have, you know what I'm saying, exposed a man and made him pay the ultimate price for what he did, but she didn't, champ. You didn't. You had RICO style crimes. You had child trafficking as well as rape in your lawsuit. This is someone who would be deemed a predator if this is true. I don't see why you would ever try to use that as leverage instead. That's very nasty work. Not gonna lie. Bearing witness to such barbaric behavior and then just using it because you need the money and you want to be rich is very heinous. I'm pretty sure he was getting paid a decent salary as Fat Joe's hype man at the time. When he was the hype man, maybe that money eventually ran low and he decided to go with what he knew best, and that was, I guess, saying that, hey, Fat Joe, I know what you did, gang. I know what you was doing back in the day, and guess what? I'm gonna sue you. If I can't get this money, I'm gonna force you to give it to me, champ. Pause. You get the point, gang. You get what I'm saying. Like, bro, this man wanted some money allegedly. A lot of people are gonna assume that he was just using this for a cash grab, and he might have got the cash underhandedly, under the table, however you wanna put it. This could be nasty work, but again, we'll never know because whatever happened is a secret. We will never know these things, gang. Unless maybe Terrance Dixon comes up short financially again. I guess we're gonna see in the near future now, aren't we, champs? But gang, how do y'all feel about this in the comment section? Do y'all believe the narrative that's out that Fat Joe might have paid Terrance Dixon under the table without anyone's knowledge to settle this suit, gang? Listen, y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. By the way, make sure you turn on that notification bell and subscribe to the mayor if you are brand new to get all of the mayor's updates, as well as hitting that like button because it's very essential to the channel, as well as upping that hype button. Hit that hype button because it does help the channel in a huge way. And one more thing before we get all the way up out of here. You ready, gang? It's the mayor, the one and only man, New York Mayor F. Mom Donnie, and you rocking with the town favorite Showface News. It's Big Gotham, and you already know it's the town versus everybody at all times. I'm up out of here, gang. Salute.